And the XRP Bull Run continues. It is July 29th, 2025, and we got a live show starting up a little bit late. It's the late night show for sure. 8 o'clock here on the West Coast, 11 o'clock Eastern. Maybe some of you guys will be watching this first thing tomorrow morning. I can't thank you enough for your support. Let's get right on into the update. Running a little bit behind, coming back from Vancouver this evening, okay? And for those of you guys that are daddies to, daughters who want to go to tea dates, maybe you understand. It's tea dates for now. It's dance recitals. We've started up the dance, and obviously we're going to get into some other, fun sports, extracurricular activities, and all that good stuff. And so I thought I was going to be heading down south here in the States for a tea party, and we got the date wrong. So my wife thought that it was today. It was actually last month. And so we had already taken off. They'd already gotten dressed up. And so we said, okay, let's go find a little tea spot. We went up to Vancouver. You might have saw my update that I dropped earlier here this afternoon. That was about 3 o'clock West Coast time. And XRP was at about 310, 312, I think. And it closed off the day a little bit above that. So we did see the market coming back. And that's why I wanted to get an update out in the middle of our adventure up north. But anyways, I've been traveling around. We just went to the Renaissance Fair a couple weekends ago. Our family dressed up as pirates. And today we went to go do that. My son didn't make it very, very far, and I was about to have a heart attack watching my son with the little tea glass, and I'm moving stuff away, trying to, clear the table, try to get him to hang for a bit, but he wasn't having it. So we took a stroll, and I was able to let him. He's happy as can be just watching the cars and the buses and the trucks and the dump truck and the garbage truck drive by, right? So me and him take a stroll, and I was able to get you guys that update this afternoon. This morning we talked about $1,000 XRP, the math behind it. And so if you guys missed both those updates, I'll be addressing it here once again in tonight's live show. I apologize for being late for tonight. The backstory there is my excuse for why I'm running late tonight. The traffic out of Vancouver was pretty rough. And as we get started here tonight, I do want to say prayers are going out right now to the folks in Hawaii, West Coast of the United States, Japan, any other areas that could be impacted by this massive earthquake that is causing tsunamis. And we got first waves arriving in Russia as we speak. This earthquake was just off the coast of Russia. And so it's sending some waves across the Pacific our way. In my neck of the woods, we're insulated. Shout out to our Canadian brothers and sisters in Vancouver Island. You guys will be taking the brunt of that, and I'm praying for you. And anybody else that's going to be taking this one, thankfully, I'm insulated. We're behind a couple islands up in my neck of the woods. But nonetheless, Hawaii, it's going, it's going off for the preparations, and many other areas already starting to see the first waves come in. And so we continue to say, let's stay prepped. Let's stay praying, and let's make sure that our portfolios are locked in for the continuation of not just this XRP bull run, as I titled tonight's live show, but a broader crypto utility bull run and a new era of utility that takes us into next year. And I'm very excited to see what happens once we finally get on a level playing field. I'm going to show you tonight, once again, the suppression of XRP is still underway. I'm running out of ways in which they can give Bitcoin and Ethereum this first mover advantage, this unfair advantage of having not only the spot ETFs, but basket ETFs that include Bitcoin, Ethereum. But now today, the SEC allows these spot ETFs to be rewarded in kind, which means that you could actually pull Bitcoin or Ethereum out of those ETFs, not just cash. So these aren't just cash settled anymore. They could actually, they've always been physically backed, but always cash settled. And now you can redeem them in kind, Bitcoin and Ethereum, while we still don't have an XRP spot ETF live. So the suppression of XRP continues. In my update this afternoon, I talked about the markets briefly. We'll look at it here as we get started for tonight's live show, but I want to get through my update quickly so that I can get to your guys' comments and questions. I know that a lot's taken place. Concerns are starting to come back after we hit a new all-time high, come back down to $3. People start to freak out. No reason to be scared at all right now. Just not at all. It's simple math that takes us to much higher prices for XRP. And I'm just going to say, you're wrong if you think it's not going to happen. You're just wrong. Just like you were wrong about it not breaking $1. Okay, it's going to break $2, but it's going to top out at $2. It'll never hit a new all-time high. It's going to stop at 3. It goes to 360, a new all-time high, and they say that was it. Time to get out. And somebody commented on my video on the way back. I was sitting in traffic and waiting to cross the border, and I looked at my YouTube comments, and I see somebody said, no, I sold off my XRP at $3. And I said, that's, you know, I didn't respond, but I'm thinking to myself, that's the exact point I was making in my video. The market makers shake you out. You get weak hands and you give up and fumble the bag. You Portnoy it. Now that's the new term. You Portnoyed the bag. You fumbled the bag right before we go print another new all-time high. And the upside that I see for XRP, I'll have to take a look at it here on my chart, but I think it's, let's zoom out here. Yeah, so it's 121% to 377% upside from here. It's going to happen. Whether you like it or not, whether you have a bag of XRP or not, whether you're long, whether you're short, you know, whether you are going to believe in the alien story. And I wanted to start off tonight by apologizing because I didn't see this black swan coming. I did call the aliens, and you guys know what I'm going to be doing during the alien dip. I am going to be laughing my butt off as I go long XRP and as I go buy more of these utility cryptocurrencies. I'm still stacking DAG. I'm still stacking others. I'm not going to go through the full list. I'm still stacking, and I will be stacking. Motherships are over 17 cities. I'm buying. But I do want to apologize because I forgot, or I just never thought of, I never considered this black swan event, and I guess that's why they call them black swans. What am I talking about? The New York Times is reporting that a massive asteroid is on a potential collision course with the moon, which could trigger a destructive meteor shower on Earth. Oh my goodness, live in fear. Give up your bags. This is the end. They've lost the plot. They've lost control. Nobody believes it. The aliens don't work. Nobody's going to buy it. So what's the next play? Let's blow up the moon. Let's send an asteroid at the moon. Wait, no, that's not them. It's just a natural occurrence, right? I'm just making a joke to show you once again here that they're going to come up with more of these events to shake out and try to fully implement their agenda while also covering their tracks of the old system of everything that they've been up to. And it's absolutely sick. We're talking about some things that I can't even get into, but you know what I'm talking about. But I can't go there. But they will go to these incredible lengths to cover things up. And so it shouldn't surprise anybody why our red folder is absolutely real. And you continue to see XRP suppressed. If they're willing to blow up the moon, if they're willing to bring in the aliens, if they're willing to, you could fill in the blank on about a dozen other scenarios and simulation events that we've lived through. You bet your bottom dollar they're going to be willing to suppress and attack XRP all the way till they can't anymore. And I've described it as that slingshot. Eventually it will snap and let go. It will be released. Nothing can stop what is coming. And specifically, I'm not just pulling this out because I want to deliver XRP hopium again tonight. That's what we do, right? We just come on here and we want to deliver some XRP hopium. Wrong. I want to share real analysis, real data, real math, and using conservative assumptions and simple math. 2 + 2 still equals 4, even if you're in the Common Core new math that they're teaching these days. And I'm specifically talking about 10 to 20 billion minimum inflows into XRP ETFs year one. I think JP Morgan's conservative at 4 to 8 billion. We're going to see more. And that equates conservatively to a $20 to $30 XRP price, which is why that's still my firm target. Is $100 possible? As I said in my update earlier today, it's inevitable. It's inevitable. Just a matter of timing. And you're fumbling a bag at $3 because the bull run's over. Yikes. Let's get you tapped in here. Make sure you're subscribed. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of our updates. Come join us in our private community. Don't wait. Way too many people are going to wait. Just last week when XRP, 2 weeks ago now, when XRP popped up to 360, guess whose schedule got fully booked out? Because everybody wants to come in. with one-on-ones. Everybody wants to come into the Discord group. Everybody wants to buy XRP merch. And thank you for your support. We're glad to have you. But I'm telling you now, don't wait around for crunch time. Don't wait around for we're on the rocket ship and you turn to me and you ask, what should I do here? One, I'm not going to give you financial advice ever. But I am going to tell you how I feel about any asset, any company, any situation, your business, any deal that you want to run across my desk. I'm going to give you my honest answer. But I'm here to tell you tonight, do not wait for this thing to pop off once again. Get into our Discord group now. I don't speak like this about my Discord group. I am now, because that's how certain I am. Let's continue. We got a lot to cover. I want to get through it quickly so we can get to Q&A. Global margin call still underway. One data point to confirm. Margin debt just hit $1 trillion, the highest level in history. See, this is the Japan carry trade could be one spark, but I've noted that this is part of a bigger global margin call. It's all the way from the largest central banks in the world having terrible balance sheets, the largest commercial banks in the world having abysmal balance sheets, hundreds of billions in the red, unrealized losses just on their bonds, let alone the trillions in red and the struggling equity within their real estate portfolios. All the way from those institutions to crypto trader bro that's over leveraged and just got liquidated when XRP went from 360 to $3. That's the global margin call. Now, crypto bro getting over leveraged, that doesn't spark like the Japan carry trade could spark. The global margin call is going to impact us back home with over 7 trillion of short-term T-bills that need to be rolled over to somebody, and we don't have any buyers. Hello, thank you, Jesus, that we finally got a stablecoin legislation bill passed so that we can unlock 2 to 3 trillion of stablecoin opportunity, stablecoin demand. But that's only half the story. Not even, because we have over 7 trillion of short-term T-bills that Janet, Notel, and Yellen front-loaded the Trump administration with. And so this is the global margin call. And to relate back to compared to what? That's the question that you always should be asking. Compared to what? The more this is more leverage than at the peak of the dot-com bubble or the 2008 crash. This is the most dangerous signal in markets right now. Is this time different? Absolutely. It's a hell of a lot worse. And if you don't see it, it's because you're tuned into mainstream media, or distracted. It's just that simple. You guys that are listening to this show and others that have been speaking about this and preparing for this, you guys are going to weather the storm. You will be the leaders in your community. You are going to take advantage of the greatest transfer of wealth in world history. And that's not just the saying that we throw out there. It's now quantified. Real numbers behind it. Senator Cynthia Lummis, proud to introduce the 21st Century Mortgage Act to make home ownership more accessible for young Americans who are embracing the digital age. Long time coming. Love to see it. Cryptocurrency, help you get in. Some people ask, why sell XRP? I don't want to. Thank God I'm in a position where I won't have to sell much of my XRP bag. But the problem that we're up against right now is that we're waiting for all of this legislation to get passed for DeFi and for being able to use crypto for a mortgage. Because once you can, and all this DeFi gets established, all these programs get rolled out, and you actually have comparable rates to what we see in traditional finance, you're not going to get mass adoption of taking loans against your crypto if the loans, are 2 to 3 times what you would get from the traditional financial markets. And the reason why that's happening is because the crypto bets are obviously more risky and because there's no game in town. They're the last saloon in town. Who else is going to give you a loan on your bag of crap coins? Shoot, I wouldn't either. Right? Now, a loan on your bag of XRP, that's some good collateral. A loan on Bitcoin, you worry me with that one. Ethereum, you worry me with that one. There's a few assets that I would, be willing to deal with on a collateral basis. But many of these crypto assets, I don't blame them for charging the higher interest rates. But the point being, for me and you that want to hold on to this bag, we're going to watch this roll out. Senator Cynthia Lummis introducing a bill right here that would allow Americans Not just young people either, because I know that we got people in our community 70 years old know more about this crypto than many people in the younger age brackets. Firelight is the best place to stake. It's coming in August. That, you know, and this is the updates from Flare that we keep on getting. It's going to come. It's going to arrive one day. Firelight's coming. Hugo tweets out a bus. Hugo tells us to imagine what would happen if we had DeFi for a $185 billion asset. No, Hugo, we don't want to imagine anymore, brother. We're ready for you to deliver. And the point being is that, do you want to be the guinea pig? Are you going to throw big bags? Because I'm not talking about, oh, I'm going to make passive income of a couple $100. I'm talking about I have 100,000 XRP to park. Even if it's at a 40, 50% loan to value. I'm talking about, are you comfortable parking a big bag of XRP with these DeFi providers and those who are going to let you borrow against these assets? It's going to take some time. And so that's why I'm going to sell a little bag of XRP and a lot of my other bags. Some of those bags of crap that I have, yep, looking to offload those. If you know any buyers, I can give you the tickers. I don't want to though. I don't want you to be the exit liquidity. Okay? But let's keep it rolling, folks. It's getting good. XDC listed on Binance. We needed it. We need some other tier 1 exchanges too. XDC. Love to see it. Binance US. Big one. Another utility coin that I'm very bullish on. Very bullish on. We got an update here. XRP Ledger Baselight. XRP Ledger just got a major analytics upgrade. Structured SQL native access to Ledger data is now live on Baselight. I have no idea what this is. This goes way over my head. SQL native access. I have no idea what this is. Sounds like we get some good data though. And if Vet likes it, well, I'll support it too. The XRP Ledger, running over a decade, has a ton of data that you can now query with simple SQL. Somebody in the chat can let me know what that means. For example, this one here, ROUSD is dominating stablecoin volume on the XRP Ledger. Let's look at this chart. ROUSD stablecoin, yep, definitely dominating. USD from GateHub, Bitstamp. I've never even heard of that one. SnapSwap, USDT Tether, USDC Gate. Nobody's using it. And this is something that we've been pointing out for a while, is that nobody trusted these other issuers. We've had dollar derivatives on the XRP Ledger from Bitstamp, GateHub, SnapSwap, which I've never heard of, Tether. I didn't even know that Tether was issuing on the XRP Ledger. Such little volume on that one too. GateHub and others. And nobody really trusted it. So it never really had volume. Now that we have ROUSD, this is going to explode. Not just the stablecoin volume. That's cool. That's fine and dandy and all. But really it's the DeFi that the ROUSD gets deployed into. Because to my point earlier about taking out a loan with your XRP still being very volatile, for me, I'm waiting for regulations to get set and for XRP to be more of a stabilized price. Once I, don't have to worry so much about XRP having a big 70 or 80% drawdown, and I don't think that we really do have to, anymore, then that is going to be when I'm looking to deploy. But I'm also going to be deploying ROUSD as well too. Right? I'm not going to just use XRP to go into some of this DeFi. I'm excited to use ROUSD because that is truly stable collateral for entering into the DeFi space, which if you are, I'm going to play the clip from the Kwok brothers talking about XRP going to $1,000. And in that segment, they also mention XRP hasn't had a DeFi summer like so many of these other blockchains. We're about to have that. We're having that right now, actually. It's being built out as we speak. And it's happening at a beautiful time because it's coinciding with broader regulation in the United States. So it's not just me and you, Joe Blow, playing around with some DeFi. It's going to be institutional DeFi. It's going to lead to massive inflows as well, too. But we're still up against XRP suppression in the form of the SEC approving in-kind creations and redemptions for crypto ETPs. The approvals continue to build a rational regulatory framework for crypto, leading to a deeper and more dynamic market which will benefit all American investors. I don't know what is rational about not approving the XRP and even Solana too. And I mentioned this in my update earlier today. I said, why is it just the XRP community that's sounding the alarm? Why are we the only ones getting our red folder? What about the rest of the crypto space? Because from what I've seen on a lot of these other cryptos and these struggling ecosystems with a lot of bag holders, you're going to need some exit liquidity. And so you should be doing everything you can to get an ETF live. You should be upset just like we are in the XRP family. And Paul Atkins wants to say that this is a rational approach to crypto. Well, it's a rational approach for Bitcoin and Ethereum, folks who are looking to get extra liquidity on Bitcoin and Ethereum. It's fantastic. And it also does provide for more institutional products that can be redeemed in the underlying asset, which just brings more demand to these assets as well too. So it's not that I'm rooting against Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're just pointing out the fact that it's not fair. I guess life's not fair, but the problem is it should be a level playing field when it comes to how our regulators are approving, these assets. And when it comes to this new asset class, why are two outdated technologies being given the unfair advantage? Bitcoin and Ethereum. First, store of value, first blockchain, in a sense, Bitcoin, we pay our respects. Ethereum, for a smart contract platform, pay your respects. Still a piece of crap. ETH 2.0, when's the next update, Vitalik? Still a piece of crap chain. Proof of what? Proof of crap as far as I'm concerned, And so why? Because it's corrupt. It's not how it should be. And we're hoping that Paul Atkins is going to change this. Definitely take us into the steps of innovation. But it's not all bad. I got to make this point. This is very important. Although we're being suppressed and held back, what do people want the most? The thing that you have told them they can't have. What toy does my son or daughter want the most? The one that they can't have. The one that their sister has. The one that their brother has, right? You guys with kids know what I'm talking about. My son, he doesn't care. Doesn't want to eat till Sissy gets a bite. And then, oh, okay, I'm ready. That's what's going to happen with the institutional investors, along with retail investors, along with 401ks, a $9 trillion opportunity that's about to get opened up through the 401ks and the executive act that President Trump's going to sign. Yeah, that thing that you've been telling them they don't have access to. Everybody's like, okay, great. I can get a Bitcoin and Ethereum ETF. You look, and the funny thing is the Ethereum ETFs are setting a record now for their inflows. And I think that XRP is going to far outpace it. Like, I'm cheering on, it's great to see. Really fantastic to see. Good stuff, guys. Don't leave us hanging. And we over here in the XRP ecosystem and the other utility cryptos, this is where we'll actually solve real problems at scale on an institutional level. And so in the meantime, what are we doing? We're trading leverage. No, you don't have any spot. But you can go 2x long. Our good friend Sal Gaberte has a product to sell you there, the double XRP ETF. Huge shout out to Sal, setting records with that ETF and the inflows that he's seen already in the hundreds of millions. Absolutely. And so while we don't have spot ETFs, we get to hit that lever up a little bit. And I like trading me some XRP futures. I like to go long XRP and I like to short Bitcoin. That's mostly my strategy. And I'm very excited because I've been trading them on Coinbase. And now we will get perpetual futures for XRP and Solana on August 18th from Coinbase. They already went live 24/7 for XRP and maybe Solana too. There is a 1 hour trading break every Friday, but then they open back up. You can trade them Saturday and Sunday, but the contracts expire at the end of the month. And so I just rolled over my contract from July to August. Now, technically, it's still closing out the position. And I did get hit up on that one a little bit. And I almost got liquidated, but not all the way. We did take a little L. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. We did take a little bit of an L. We got smacked up by Coinbase a little bit. That's okay. And And what I did is I rolled over my contract from July to August, and so I'm still in an XRP long, and I doubled up and tripled up on that position in the meantime. And I'm actually looking at adding some more if we do get some sort of pullback below $3, which is just totally uncalled for. There's no reason for the market to be going down this week. It's just simply the market makers are getting people fudded out of their bags, getting way too many people going short now, right before they just pump it again and take everybody's, liquidate us again for another $500 million, just like they did over the last week. They squeezed over 700 million from what I've seen. So they'll take another $500 million from the crypto degens going short. They already did take your bag of XRP if you sold. And I think it's going to be difficult for you to get that XRP bag back. Because even if we just double up in short order, that completely changes your ability to acquire that bag back of XRP. And so I think that folks are playing a dangerous game, trying to trade that, and or they just don't understand what they hold. And to give up now, I just blows my mind. Blows my mind. With all of the bullish catalysts that we have down the road here, it blows my mind that people would be fudded out of their bags now. And it's like being in the fourth quarter of the game and you have a lead and you quit. That's what this is. You have a 20-point lead, fourth quarter, and you decide I'm gonna call it. I'm good. That's what this is. Because all of the bullish catalyst for XRP is that 20-point lead gap that you have in this metaphor. SEC drops the appeal officially, where the doofus morons that need their hand held to understand that the case is over, they'll actually understand that it's officially over. Okay, man, case is over. Water's warm. Let me come on in. Is everybody else ready to get into XRP now? Oh, now that it's $3, now that it's $4, now that it's $5, $6, these people are going to FOMO in all the way up because they've been waiting for that water to warm up a little bit. They've been waiting to get the official confirmation that we're out of the SEC case. There's still people that literally think this case goes till next year. And I always say invest in the inevitable. It's inevitable that the case gets dropped within the next 30 days at this point. Q3, we can just say Q3 to be safe, but next 30 days, it's inevitable that the XRP ETFs, spot ETFs, along with basket ETFs go live Q3. 100% going to happen. Clarity Act legislation for DeFi, 100% on the way. It's just a matter of timing. Q3, yeah, when they get back from recess, maybe by the end of the year, they better. But it's the DC dance. These are all inevitables. XRP DeFi then explodes, not just from retail level, but from an institutional level as well. You see that Ripple can bring more and more of their partners are coming on, and new ones are signing up. Monica Long, the president of Ripple, has already cited this year as being basically, this is what they said at the end of last year, is that since they've had clarity and into 2025, they've added more U.S. clients than ever before, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. This has been the best, for signing on U.S. institutions and others too. But as this all fades away, there was a clip being shared here by, I forget the lady's position, but she was at Ripple, and she was saying how more and more of these top level banks are now getting ready to roll out their white label crypto services and custody, but they're going to be using Ripple custody and or other third-party vendors versus doing it in-house. And that's the first mover's advantage that Ripple has, is that they were first mover when it came to holding the hands of the institutions and showing them the proof of concepts back in 2015, 16, 17, 18. Signing on all these partners leading up to 2020, XRP already should have been at double digits easily. But you know what happened. And so here we are on the precipice of them lifting the veil on all these partnerships that they've already got. And you're starting to see the announcements come out, one project after another, finally saying that a stablecoin's not competition. They're leaning into it. And this is Wells Fargo. This is others. They're all coming. But if you guys, I'm excited about this myself, just to be able to trade futures. It's a way to hedge and leverage your positions. And this is something that I broke down. If you look in the description of my YouTube video, I have a trading lesson, and you can buy it on Patreon or come into our Discord group to get tapped in with us. But this is where we share, how to trade, the basics of trading futures. And, this is something that I think that for the more sophisticated investors that are managing their own money, you should learn how to hedge. And so my strategy lately has just been go long XRP when we think that the market's going up, and then short Bitcoin when we think it's going back down. And that seems to be pretty dialed in right now. But that's just my strategy and what I've been up to. You can take what I do, and this is what I encourage, because I don't give financial advice. I just show you the blueprint that I'm working with, and then you get to run with your own strategy. And maybe you have success longing and shorting Shiba or whatever it may be. For me, I keep it simple, and I stick to what works for myself. But that's linked up down below if you guys are looking to get access. Now, in regards to inflows, we got to celebrate the fact, even though it's Ethereum, we love to see it. It's 18 straight days of inflows for spot Ethereum ETFs. Now, why you would want to throw money at Ethereum right now is beyond me. We could have a whole live show just on that issue alone, but I'm not going to take up the whole show on that. You guys know how I feel. 5.4 billion in new money, and that's what we want to celebrate. This is now tied for the second best inflow streak since launch. We'll look to tie the record 19-day inflow streak tomorrow. So if we get another day tomorrow, that would tie the record. So we're breaking records right now for Ethereum ETF inflows. This current streak has blown away the combined total money from those two previous streaks. So the streak is set to break again, but the amount of money coming in outpaces them combined. There's a lot of money coming into Ethereum right now. I don't know why. I don't know why you would. And God bless it for you guys that have been holding that bag of Ethereum. Here you go. Here you go. God bless it. Hey, we'll take advantage of it, huh? How about a $1,000 XRP? Who's going to take advantage of that? Now, before I get to that, I'm going to take a sip of my adult beverage. I'm going to say cheers to Dom Kwok and everybody else who's willing to think outside the box a little bit, to not allow the crypto police and all the people, because they're the same people that said that you couldn't say that Bitcoin was going to $10. You couldn't say Bitcoin was going to go to 100, 1,000, 10,000, $100,000. And I've learned my lesson with Bitcoin. I don't say it's not going to 1 million anymore. I don't think it is this bull cycle. I think it's going to take some time, and I think it's going to struggle, but there's no limit to how much they can devalue the US dollar. So can they devalue it, by that much to get us there in short order? Absolutely. We've seen it in many falling currencies before. But a huge shout out to Dom, Phil from Easy A. Cheers to them and everybody else who's not afraid to talk about high prices of XRP and back it with real analysis on how it could get there. God bless it. Let's talk about it. For those who missed the clip, I'm sure you haven't. I know it went viral everywhere. Let's listen in here, Dom.
And I think it's the first time I'll say it, but I think XRP is heading to $1,000 by 2030. So for me, it's a super important project, and actually probably one of the most important projects out there at the moment.
One of the most important projects out there in the moment, and I have to agree completely. Well, because we've talked about how XRP can solve a debt, currency, and liquidity crisis. I've been talking about this since 2021, talking about that's why I went all in XRP when I didn't have much money. I couldn't afford to diversify really, and I just was stacking up XRP in my early days in 2018 when I transitioned from being a Bitcoin bro to seeing the light, coming in heavy on XRP, and then just being all in by 2019. Accumulating it as fast as possible, FOMOing in, running my bank account to zero, overdrafting it countless times, because that's what we were doing. I was a degen, right? In the sense of all I did was run my business and I stacked XRP. That was it. And I was studying the heck out of it. And then thankfully, we got a bear market after 2021 into 2022, 23. and we just were able to continue stacking and accumulating. And now, my whole business is, based in crypto. Obviously, we talk about more than just cryptocurrency news, but now we live, breathe, and make our whole living basically off of crypto. And it's interesting because you wouldn't believe, if you had been told back in 2018 and 2019 that XRP was going to take till 2025 to break up to a new all-time high again, nobody would have believed you. I don't even think that the haters would have believed you, right? And so now here we are, and it's been suppressed for so long and held back and manipulated for so long, which to me has only proven over all of this time, has only proven how important this asset really is. No other digital asset is set up to address the debt, liquidity, and currency crisis all at once, right? And ROUSD is that sidekick on top of the XRP ledger that really solidifies that currency crisis part of it. So we had the debt and the liquidity crisis ongoing, and we've talked about how that works. If they acquire XRP, just like they're going to talk about tomorrow when they drop the feasibility study on cryptocurrency, and they'll mention XRP, you could see XRP pop again. I mean, if you look at what happened when Trump mentioned XRP being in the strategic crypto reserve, XRP popped up by almost $1. It was like 80 cents right away. And so we could see something like that tomorrow. Maybe it won't be as dramatic, but it is going to be included. And it opens up really the conversation that we've been having since 2018, 2019, and some of you guys even before me. I thought I was late to XRP in 2018, 2019. But you acquire the XRP and then you let it be revalued higher. And that's exactly what's happening with gold, right? The revaluation of gold is already underway. It's happening in front of you. And the same thing for XRP is just happening much more slowly. And many people are going to be distracted away from it. Many people have given up in the meantime. And that's a sad state of affairs. The propaganda machine against XRP is very, very real. But you move over to the liquidity crisis, it's very clear how it settles that. But then the final piece was the currency crisis. XRP is not here to replace the dollar. It's here to complement the dollar. It's helped to make the dollar more liquid. And that's exactly what RLUSD is going to facilitate. This is the 1-2 punch. XRP ledger being the best source of liquidity in the world, XRP serving as the bridge currency between RLUSD and every other stablecoin, CBDC, and issued asset on the ledger. It's a bridge currency between freaking meme coins and what are going to be some of the best real world assets tokenized on the ledger from some of the best and biggest institutions in the world. And then somebody's going to have a pudgy penguin on the XRP ledger meme coin. And XRP gets to serve as the bridge source of liquidity between all of it. And the reserve of the ledger and the reserve of many people who use this ecosystem. And so as you're starting to see, almost a dozen corporate treasuries have already started to the tune of almost $1 billion. And that's peanuts compared to, I think, what we'll end up seeing here eventually. Now, I want to get to your guys' Q&A. Here's the final point that I'm going to show you guys if you haven't seen it already. The inflows needed for $100 and $1,000 XRP. For $100 XRP, I think that we would need to see 11 to 58 billion of net inflows. For $1,000 XRP, $1,000 XRP, I should say, we would need 118 billion to 589 billion of net inflows into XRP. In those examples, I'm using multipliers of 100 and 500. If you wanted to be even more conservative and use a 50x multiplier, keep it more conservative, that's fine. I agree. That would be something to consider and maybe likely. Then we would be doubling that bigger number, because the multiplier would be half of that 100x multiplier. And so we'd just be doubling that amount in inflows that we would need to see. So you would need to see about 116 billion of net inflows to see $100. using a 50x multiplier, keeping it very, very conservative. Very conservative. To see $1,000 XRP being very conservative with a 50x multiplier, you would need to see a little over 1 trillion in inflows into XRP. And I think that that is probably the correct assumption, because, you know, if somebody asked me, what's it going to take for $100 XRP, I would say between 50 billion to 120 billion in net inflows. I'm going to give you a range of inflows that's assuming a multiplier of 50 to 100x. I think that that's conservative. I think that I can show you that backed by real data that we've been seeing on the order books. We've been tracking that multiplier, and the average that I've been getting is over 100. Some days 200, 400, 500x. And so a 50x multiplier, I think, is very reasonable, very conservative assumption, which tells us it's just simple math that it's, you know, if you got 100 billion of net inflows into XRP, you're approaching $100 XRP. If you get, you know, 500 billion to 1 trillion of inflows into XRP, that's what it would be to get approaching 589 or 1,000 XRP. And I wish I was making this up. Now, I did round off. I did commit a rounding error on purpose to get the 589. It was actually 590. Okay, it was 50. It was 59 billion. If I take you back here, it was actually 59 billion and 590 billion. But I committed a little rounding error to 589 just to feed the Riddlers a little something. Okay, but the point being, conservative assumptions. Simple math. Is it impossible? No. Does it happen this year? No, I don't think so. Does it happen next year? I don't think so. 2030? Dom Kwok says 1,000. I say between 100 and 1,000. And maybe I'm being too conservative. I am on purpose, because just like Dom's getting clipped up and going viral, I get clipped up every single time I make a video. And people can't wait to tell me when I've been wrong. And so we're erring on the side of caution. But I am going to affirmatively say that if you're selling off all of your XRP now because you think that the XRP bull run is over, you're wrong. And if you think that it's impossible for XRP to hit $100 or even 1,000, you also are wrong. Okay? Now let's open it up. I hope everybody's having a fantastic night tonight. Let's take a look here. XRP at 314. We did get a green daily candle, very small daily candle, but we're still on track. It's just hilarious to me to watch all the new folks in here who are getting shaken up, you know, and it's sad to me that they give up their bags when they don't see the inevitable. It's 121% to a $7 XRP. It's 377% to a $15 XRP. And it's coming by September 7th. I firmly believe that. Now we're about halfway into my time frame here for a $4 to $5 XRP. I've seen some folks in the comments lately trying to get slick with me, saying that we've been wrong. No, I was wrong, and we'll admit that. I was wrong about this $4 to $5 XRP coming in March, in April, in the months prior. 100% I was wrong. Absolutely. Will I be wrong again? I could. Look at what just happened, though. All right, over the course of 1 week, we went from $1.90 XRP to $3.60 all-time high. And the inflows that came in were nothing. Literally a few 100 million net inflows is what it took for us to do that. It's just nothing. And when you compare it to what the Ethereum ETF is doing right now, it's so sickening and frustrating. It just makes me want to laugh because I feel like I'm going insane dealing with all these people that are giving up the bag, not realizing that we're seeing the inflows right now into Ethereum. Something similar comes into XRP and it equates to a double-digit XRP with ease. And these people just don't get it. It's going to be unfortunate for them. Let's go rapid fire. How we doing? I got some super chats that did come in, so I'm going to check that real quick. I really want to thank everybody for stopping by tonight, and I am going to urge you to get into our Discord group right away. Now's the time. Don't wait. You don't want to be calling me up during crunch time. You don't want to be coming into the group in the middle of fireworks taking place. It's happening now. So join us right away. Patreon to get access to Discord. We'd love to have you in the family, and we appreciate all of your support. Charles Brewer, thank you for the 20 spot. ZR, you are a voice of reason in the sea of madness. We all appreciate what you do for the community, and we won't stop. Charles, I appreciate your support. Always throwing down for us, and God bless you, my brother. Bob Thieger, 5 spot, thank you. Do you see higher price targets, $1 for XDC, now that it was listed on Binance and Kraken? I've been pretty firm on a 40 to 60 cent XDC, keeping it very conservative. I think that it would hit some sell pressure above $1. But I need to do an updated look at XDC. What I need to get from them is tokenomics, and I need to do an updated deep dive on their partnerships and everything that's taking place in their ecosystem. So I'll look to do that. It'd actually be fun to have Quincy Jones back on the show too. So maybe I can do an XDC deep dive, and we can also get Quincy on for the update. What do you guys think about that one? Dennis, thank you for the 5 spot. Obvious fact that the SEC has approved XRP by way of Bitwise multi-crypto ETF. Paused because must file with court by August 15th. Need to drop Ripple appeal by then. And maybe it is the SEC appeal and the ongoing process with that court case, which is stalling out. But that doesn't explain why they stalled on the Solana ETFs as well too, right? So they've stalled on the Solana ETF. That Bitwise ETF was a basket that included the top 10 cryptos. And so, they're suppressing XRP, but they're also suppressing other ones too. I don't see anybody else but the XRP family making any noise about it, which baffles me. Because I know a lot of people are holding a bag of Solana. I know a lot of people are holding some of these other bags. I'd be wanting an ETF, big time. I do want to let everybody know too that we're actually lining up for our Discord members exclusively a crypto estate planning session with Mark Kohler. For those of you guys who might have heard of Mark, if you haven't, I would highly recommend. I listen to his content on YouTube for tax and legal content, not just for crypto, but for business, real estate, everything else. Guy's got some great content, been in the game for a long time, and very excited to have him. He's going to be joining our Discord group here. We're locking down a date with him right now, but it'll be completely free for our Discord members. We're building out a list of people that are signing up for it right now, and we already have 80 attendees, and I don't know if the space is going to be limited or not. So if you guys want to get access to that, that's another perk of being in the Discord group. We're going to be doing this call with Mark here shortly, and so get tapped in, Patreon to get access to Discord. Really looking forward to this session though, because we've already lined up a bunch of questions that we're going to have for Mark and his team. And this is going to be an exclusive call with our Discord community. Really looking forward to this, and I highly recommend you guys check out his content. It's Mark, M-A-R-K, Kohler, K-O-H-L-E-R. Really looking forward to it. Okay, let's go rapid fire Q&A. How's everybody doing? New hats on the way too. Working on this simple XRP logo. We also got this one coming in with the colors reversed. So it'll be with the white logo with the black trim. But I like this one. This is slick. I like this low key. The problem, not everybody wants to walk around letting everybody know that they're a big XRP bag holder. I wish that we could without having to worry about our security so that we could spread the good word about XRP. That's where this comes in. But even this one still gives it away kind of for the people that know, they know. They see this, oh goodness. He's rich. He or she. Shout out to the ladies in the chat. We got such a diverse community. I love it. Men, women, young, old, retired, young hustlers. God bless all of you guys. I want those hats. Yep, ZachRector.com. Hit the shop tab. These hats will be uploaded in the next day or so. Strong on Dag. Yep. No, it's moving back up, and I still think that it's going to go up to 40 to 60 cents too. It's the same level as XDC that I see for DAG. The previous all-time high was 46 cents. I think that it could easily go there, 40 to 50 cents again. And so while it's at 4 or 5 cents, you got a 10 bagger sitting in front of you. I've been very bullish on DAG. I tripled up my position last month on DAG. I like this one. This is in the Richardson 112. I don't wear hats though, so I don't know. I don't know where I'm supposed to have this. I got a big head. It's a little tight. Try the 2 snaps. Yeah, I like this one. I like that. That's nice. My head's a little crooked, but that's okay. How's everybody doing tonight? Let's go rapid fire with it. Leslie says, I love your honesty no matter what. Absolutely. We'll always keep it real with you guys. We got rate cuts. Sorry, rate decision tomorrow. We're not going to get a rate cut. We're not going to get a rate cut. Zach, love seeing your video with your son. Cherish that time. They grow quickly. He's a stubborn boy, I tell you what. I don't know where he gets it. Oh boy. Stubborn guy. He was not ready for the tea party. I asked the waitress, I said, you got something besides a, glass teacup here that I could give this boy? She brings him a metal one, which was great. He couldn't break it, but he found out, well, for one, he was making a fool of himself, just drinking it and dumping it on himself, dumping the water on himself. But then he was hitting the table with it. He thinks he's a funny guy, and it's hard not to laugh at him. But I said, okay, girls, me and the boy are out of here. You guys enjoy your tea time. We're out of here. Can I talk about rate cuts? I don't think it happens tomorrow. I think he's going to stick it to us. I think he's embarrassed by what happened of Trump encountering him at the Fed, calling him out on the project. And so I think, no, you're not gonna get a rate cut tomorrow, I don't think. Goodness, Legend says, let's give away 3 or 4 of those hats. Keep the change, Zach. 1970, God bless you, brother. Big 200 spot. Dude, I still need to give hats away. I was already planning on a giveaway on Thursday. We were going to do 6 hats. Now I'll do 10, okay? We'll do 10. How about that? Everybody come back to Thursday night's live show. We'll be due to be starting at our regular time, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. But come back because we'll do another giveaway. And that'll be a lot of fun. We gave away dog tags last week. We'll do hats this week. Legend, I got you 2 Trump hats on the way, by the way, brother. I sent you 2 Trump hats and a XRP family shirt, I think. Yeah. We'll get you some more too. When should we expect XRP to start climbing? Lock in, please. Immediately. No reason for the market to be going down this week. None. Market makers shaking you out, tricking you to go short, fudding you out of your bag before we go higher. Okay? Zach, no aliens but tsunami, yes. Yeah, and the other black swan that I mentioned earlier that I never considered, they're going to blow up the moon. An asteroid's going to hit the moon now. And I just can't help but laugh. Because we just don't buy it anymore, right? It's just, and I remember when I used to live in fear like that all the time. But it was before I had children. Once you have children, What's the alternative? What's the alternative other than to fight till the very end? You know, there is no other option. There is no shying away. And we are so locked in. Not only is XRP going to change our lives in the next couple months, but our other utility begs as well too. And I'm very excited because the DeFi, I think, is going to be coming not just for XRP, but for some of those others as well. And honestly, more so than just pumping hopium at you guys, I'm excited for us to clear out the pretenders. I wish I could tell you about some of the stuff I've been seeing lately. Some of the pretending I've been seeing lately. Some of the very scary things and concerning things I've been seeing lately. Like millions and millions of XRP being sent to anonymous DeFi projects that don't even tell you where the yield's coming from. And I'm thinking, what is our XRP family doing? And that's why I've been really pounding on, you know, the DeFi counterparty risk. Before you give up your XRP, who the hell is going to be holding it and keeping it secure? And simple question, where's the yield coming from? Those are the two questions. How's it going to be secured? Where's the yield coming from? And I would also recommend maybe asking, what's your track record been up to this point? Thoughts on the midnight airdrop? Yeah, Cardano wanted to tap in with the XRP community and other chains as well too. I think that many people want to tap in with the XRP ledger right now. This is why you're seeing Cosmos, EVM sidechains going live. All these networks are tapping in. Axelar is going to connect us with over like 60, 70 blockchains. This is all happening right now. Paul, thank you for the 5 spot. Zach, do you think that XRP will pull back anymore by tomorrow? If so, what price? Thanks. So we got fibs at 304. Let's go to the charts real quick. I'll give you the zoomed in look. I've been showing you zoomed out where we sit, but let's zoom in here on XRP. And you can see the 296 shakeout set that $3 low the very next day. That was Friday, July 25th. Run it back up this weekend. Starts to get people a little excited. Just enough to get some people suckered in. Boom. Bring it back on down to 305 here again. But this is a higher low. That's right above the fib level that we have at 304. We had a fib level at 296, so it made sense that we caught support there. Big psychological level at $3 as well too. So it made sense that we got 8 up there, and it's making sense that we set a higher high because there's more momentum behind XRP. More people, you know, starting to come in here. But you know, I think that the market makers are, you know, getting people thinking that was the top. That was the end, right? And really, if you just go back to November, it has been a heck of a run. The full move here is still massive for XRP. Sorry. 528%. From 50 cents to 313, it's 528%. But that's not it. Many people mistakenly thinking that that's the end of the XRP bull run. 360 is not it. There's a final wave that comes in, and we even could see another extension up to 20 or 30 bucks by the end of this year too. We have to watch it from here. And right now, the traditional trader, the traditional person who hasn't been paying attention to everything happening in the XRP ecosystem and all of these catalysts and looking at the ETF inflows that we can expect, they would just say that XRP is going to top out at $5 or $6 because that makes sense based off of our old reality. Right, based off of pre-regulation, pre-stablecoin legislation, during an SEC lawsuit, pre-ETFs going live, it makes sense that retail money could only push XRP to 5, 6, 7, $8. A lot of people saying that $8 will be the top. At most $10, right? But I think that what gets missed in those price predictions is the ETF inflows specifically. Now, on top of that, you have treasury companies, you have XRP DeFi, you have a list of other things that drive demand to XRP at the end of the day. That's what it does, which leads to XRP going even a lot higher. So I don't think that many people realize that when they're just looking at their traditional TA, their normal indicators in a speculative environment without all these things that are coming down the road in full utility going live. I don't think that the traditional TA person's seeing that. By the way, ZBCN did pop off today as well too. I don't know if you guys caught that. It went back above half a penny. So not only have we called ZBCN once, we've called it 2 and now 3 times precisely. So ZBCN was back in here. Remember, here's the timeline. I have these 2 vertical lines. These vertical lines on my chart are the day that I made my first video. I said, guys, I just bought ZBCN. I'm going to do a deep dive. This thing's going up. It's going to go a lot higher. I dropped my deep dive. I gave my targets. That was April 26th, 10 days later. I said, guys, I wish I would have bought ZBCN down here. I didn't. But it's still going a lot higher. It's going to half a penny to a penny. And it went to 3/4 of a penny. Now, I took profit at half a penny, my first target. I gave you my targets. I set my target the day that I bought ZBCN on April 16th. I have it on my Caleb and Brown. I have the complete timeline. I bought ZBCN. After I got the TA, I asked my friend Bunny what his chart for ZBCN looked like. I said, these guys keep on asking me about ZBCN. What's the chart look like? As soon as Bunny Boy sent me that chart, and I know his name's ridiculous, I tell him that all the time. I got to meet him in Vegas and give him crap in person. It was nice. And I said, how the hell am I hanging out with a grown man named Bunny Boy? What's going on here? But he's got some good TA. And so I asked him, and he always catches me. He saves me in a pinch when I need some TA, a chart real quick. And when he showed me ZBCN was going up, I said, okay. I went to Caleb and Brown, and I bought some. And the day that I bought it, I knew what my exit target was. And I really honed that in after I did my deep dive too. But I had already set the order on April 16th. All on Caleb and Brown. I bought it, set the order, set it and forget it. And then literally while I was outside playing with my children, later that month, that was into May, and it went above half a penny. Well, that's when my order was filled. There was no problems with that. Said, thank you very much. I told my broker, can you send the cash to my bank account? He said, not a problem. It arrived in my bank account the very next day. Very next day. But that was just the first part of the story, was the run up on ZBCN. Then it started to bleed out. And folks started to worry. It was called a scam. This was the end. It was a pump and dump. Zach, you're a bad guy because you helped your community find an opportunity and it printed millions for them, but you're still a bad guy and I don't like you. And people said that. And we said, okay, yep. What's going to happen here is it's going to bleed on out to 1/4 of a penny to 0.003. And I told my Discord group that that was the level that I was looking to pick up at. I said, I'm going to consider picking up some ZBCN at 0.003 or 1/4 penny. That's exactly where it went, 0.0023. So not only did we call the pump, we perfectly called that bottom. And then I said, guys, it's not done. I'm going to pick up right here because it's going to go back above half a penny. And that's exactly what it has done here today. Back up to 0.0056. A 140% move from this most recent low. from where we called it, 0.003. If you would have picked up there, 86%. 0025, 120%. And I don't think it's done, actually. I still think that this one could approach a penny. But I'm so happy with how this one's played out because our community made money. It came back down, which actually allowed some people to double down on their position and average in. And now it's moving back up, just like we said it would. No reason to worry. It's going to come back up, back above half a penny to a penny. I don't have new targets. I'm still not calling for a 2 to 5 cent ZBCN. I'm not calling for it to go to $1. Still have the same targets, half a penny to a penny, which that puts nearly all of our community back in profit again, if you aren't already. And so that's going to be nice to see. Very happy with how that one played out. And I just saw that they actually integrated a 15th blockchain. Let me pull that up today. They just keep adding partnerships and building. 15 blockchains and counting. Zebex Silver and Carbon cards now support 15 blockchains with Octaspace as the latest addition. I've never heard of that. But Solana, Ethereum, BNB, SWI, and more. 15th chain integrated for ZBCN. So, pretty good. Okay, we got another super chat here. 20 spot from Crypto Keeper. Zach, it was a pleasure meeting you in Vegas, and thank you for taking a pic with me. I also got a great pic of you and Jake Claver. Thank you. Do you recommend getting an LLC in Wyoming? I've been looking into it, but not quite sure on the details. Yeah. So if it makes sense for you, then yeah, that's a great model that they've set up over there with the LLCs in Wyoming. Great jurisdiction, and they've gone through that process thousands of times setting up those LLCs. And so it appears to be a nice model that they've built over there with that one. Obviously, it's not one and done. You can't just make one, LLC entity in Wyoming, and that's probably going to handle all of your business. But for your crypto holdings and other alternative investments, it's a nice model that they've set up. And Wyoming's a good jurisdiction, but other states are also coming along here too with favorable crypto regulations as well, and no state income tax as well. So the states are all going to be competing. Wyoming jurisdiction is really solid, and they've already confirmed that. And so I like the model that they've built over there for the LLC out of Wyoming. I do. Yeah. Okay. All right, guys. Hey, I got a late jump on it tonight, so I was just trying to get through tonight's update quickly. I want to say we're going to have some new XRP family hats available for you guys. Come on back for Thursday night's live show. We're going to give away 10 hats during that live show, so that'll be a lot of fun. We'll be back in the markets here again tomorrow. If you guys are looking to get access to our Discord community, head on over to ZachRector.com, sign up through Patreon to get access to Discord. We would love to have you over there. And I appreciate everybody for stopping by tonight. If you haven't already on the way out, if you could like this video, it really does help us. Thank you for sharing out all of our content far and wide, and we appreciate your support. God bless you all. Have a fantastic evening, okay? Thank you very much.